Hello again, this is storyteller Alex. Good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about Draconites, the universe, and basic information that you need to understand what's going on. Well, let's get started. So, in the beginning, it mentions Earth in a prehistoric period. That period is the late Cretaceous period. The moment the asteroid hits the planet, during that time period, the crystal falls. But what is the crystal? So, what is that thing that saves those two turtles, giant prehistoric turtles, which it could be a number of species, by the way, that become really big and become the Titan turtles that we know now. What is Aina? We should be asking. Could it be a divine being from another world? Could it be a sentient rock? It could be anything. But whatever it was, it saved these turtles through a dimension. Now, is there other dimensions besides this one? Quite possibly. But we'll find out in the other, along the series, the twists and turns that will become the book trilogy. So these turtles grow, obviously, but with what food? I mean, they have food from the time, but they're being fed by something something supernatural, I would say. It looks like grass, but it's not grass. But it's this energy that once they feed upon it, they won't need have the urge to feed, because they're just absorbing it like a plant that absorbs energy from the sun. These turtles get big and big. From them, they develop all necessary aspects of life. Your oceans come from the tears. I think of breath comes the air. Heck, the sun comes from a shine from their shells. The moon comes from a moment when a flap of their flippers, or other stories suggest that from another source. But you'll find out soon in book 3, the real history of Aina. Now, the names of these two turtles. Who named them? Again, there are many people who named the turtles. Some people got into Aina by accident, only to return back to the original home and time period. But it was one a priest on his way from India, a practitioner of Hinduism, that he named them because there was one female and one male turtle. He named the male Kuruma, one of the Vishnu's avatars, and Abhija, which means born in water. And with those names, we call ourselves the continents, or the worlds. Kuruma is the right side of the world. Abhija is the left. And the one with the most life-changing events that occur. Now, how did creatures come? That's another question. Well, creatures come, including humans, through these fluctuations in the dimension, where a single step for one area can lead you to the dimension, and you won't notice. And it could be from any time period. So many rare animals, including humans themselves, gotten trapped in there over generations upon generations, enough to create an entire countries full of nations and empires and cities, everything, all their knowledge from whatever time period they're from, they bring it with them. If it's medieval Europe, all of medieval Europe's knowledge comes through. What other stuff? Religions as well. It could be a mix of religion as well, until the time period of the Imperium, Second Imperium, which threatened to wipe out all world religions. It was lucky that many people practiced these religions underground, with avoiding the Imperium's night watch and stuff. Let's see, what else? Oh, the prophecy. Well, let's start by asking ourselves, what are the elders? Who are they? Well, the elders are individuals who lived for a very long time until becoming literally ghosts and stuff. And they write down every single piece of knowledge that comes through this world. But this prophecy came mysteriously in a scroll, but without any known origin and stuff. The whole summer. No one knew it was going to be summer. I mean, there were a lot of individuals that looked the part, but didn't actually had one key feature, was a birthmark. Chieko Watanabe was the last known person who almost matched the description of the he didn't match part of the prophecy at the same time. So now we're going to talk about the Great Global War. This war was the longest war ever in all history of mankind in here as well. And this war began the era 116 or 116 CE in our time period and lasted until 1940, 105, 109, around there. That a lot of people are still, some on the opposite side, the villains, still refused to give up, and they didn't want, and they wanted a war to continue and stuff, and that was not good. The war was split in 3 phases. There was like a ceasefire between each phases as well. The Imperium, obviously, since they were really bad at stuff, would often break these ceasefires and do nasty stuff. The monster creation and all that. If you guys already read part of the prologue and in the first chapter of the story of book 1. So, yeah. But now as we come closer to the current timeline, we ask ourselves several more questions. How did the Draco Academy form? Well, it already started forming after the disaster of the second war, the second phase of the war, in which the Imperium launched a surprise attack on the school of Jomes. That's information you'll learn in, I believe, book 2. It was a tragic event because the students lost their masters, both his master, his wife, and at least one of their friends of the orphans. They were hopeless, but then they decided not to give up on their master's will. So they fought in the war. And from there, they after the war ended, they took over the Ragamatura's castle and converted it into a school. And yet, eventually, the castle would grow. New buildings would be added, and many more during the current timeline. It became a giant city, like a basic giant city, like more city than school at this point. Until you'll find out later that something tragic is about to happen. But that's another story for another day. Book 1. The Pater apologize again for if I'm butchering this word. These guys are like Vikings. They are Vikings, led by a young Jarl who thought he was sailing to England to follow one of the many Viking raids across the UK and Ireland, but on that day they didn't go. They disappeared. Where? To this time loop like area between the portal of Earth and endless loop that, let's say someone dies, nighttime comes, that person comes back alive and dies again. It's all an endless loop. No wind to take your boat anywhere. You're trapped in a current. How did it get out? It was by finally, after much struggling with their minds and stuff, they moved. But during that, they moved their boat using their oars, and during that moment, the boat accelerated, landing them in an archipelago near the mainland of what will be called Giona, the future country of Giona, but it's now Ragamatra's palace. It was called Setchia, meaning sea, the archipelago, because that was the first thing they did. Those warriors, barbarian warriors, since they haven't seen any land for a long time, they just sat down, kissed the land even, and there was also a stone that looked like a throne. So it was perfect for the young Jarl to sit on that seat. Eventually it will be carved into a fancy throne. And now for the real baddies. Ragamatra, Devasa, and other members of the Four Heavens. Ragamatra, as you guys know, his origin story. He had developed a religion that everyone was forced to practice. Anything else was forbidden, and that definitely would involve an execution and the burning of that person's books and stuff like that regarding that religion. Is the way of the Four Heavens. And the Four Heavens, he regarded himself as the father, the warrior, the king, and the god the land. He's the one who risen up from ashes and brought order to the land, which was not really true. He just got lucky. During the day of the great earthquake, he was trapped underground, under his underground lab, which he was comfortable, by the way. He just found the right moment when the light was shining to make him look like he was the hero of the people, and unfortunately people fell for it. What else we can talk about without spoiling the book? Elementary, yes, that's another important thing. The power system. Well, this occurrence started years ago. Maybe the first to, no, I would say second generation to third. Humanoids began displaying an ability to create and control elements or transform themselves into creatures. And that scared a lot of people when the first person found out about this. So many people thought up them as monsters and stuff like that. So many stayed away from them until Joe May went to those areas and told them they were just people. And gradually they were accepted into society, and they became very famous for their abilities. Many people became famous. Many elementary, good and bad, became famous. Many people had abilities such as create fire, or water, lightning, or transform themselves to creatures and beasts from nothingness. It was like second nature to them. And it was all due to a special little microscopic organ that allowed them to do this. For instance, fire, or actually lightning, I would be a better example. There's a science, how batteries work and stuff like that. So one side of a person's body would be negative charging, I think, electrons. It's the same process of, how lightning is produced when, you see the thunderstorm and stuff like that. There were also rare abilities that were really powerful. For instance, our Kia Urchin, Pyroclastic Earth. How does she do that? A little bit of gravity on one side. She can control gravity on one hand, or both hands actually, and at the same time produce heat so hot that it's almost like lava, like cooling at the same time. Like how it's the same with wind. It's the way we breathe. Let's see. Some. Yeah. Oh, almost spoiled you guys. Liam, brilliant flame. You'll find out his story. I don't want to spoil everything in one go, but the way you're gonna find out these people unlock their abilities, their backgrounds, it will be amazing. So, with that being said, this is Storyteller Alex, and this is my mini companion guide. Sorry I couldn't tell you guys so much, but I don't want to spoil anything. You guys have to read. The book is available on ebook as an ebook in Amazon as well paperback. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, Alexander.Monzon14 at check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Alex Ambass, Triple L. My email, if you want to reach me for any information or questions, just write in the comment what you need, and I'll respond as soon as I can. I'm always looking at my comment section on my YouTube channel, so I'm watching you. So next set plan is, as soon as we the videos hit, especially the live story reading, if they reach 100K at least, I'll continue reading from chapter 2 to 3, maybe a little bit more. It's a challenge. Also, I'm currently planning to start writing again for book 2. If you guys have any ideas for characters and stuff like that, or as a way to like give you like a little holla at you, just write me in the comments. Follow the process of the characters in the book. Don't copy from others unless you get permission. If you want to create art and anything like that, also ask me first. Or any object you want to create, again, ask me first. I would like to see your work, people. I welcome artists, see there. I like this, start a fan base and everything like that. Get interact with my peeps. Yeah, if you're a good artist and stuff like that, you know, how you like to make merch and stuff. We'll talk and stuff like that. Or figurines or statuettes. We have a 3D printer and stuff. Yeah. And if Netflix, if you're there watching, talk to me. I would like to see my series, some series or a movie, or Disney Plus. Or any anime. It's an anime series, that'd be great. With that being said, this is Storyteller Alex logging out.